In today's video, we're going to be going over ear training and how to learn bass lines by ear. So I recently received a comment from somebody asking me to release some content on ear training and learning how to play bass lines by ear. And since I've never done anything like that before, I thought it would be a great idea. So in today's video, I'll be covering steps to take to learn how to play bass lines by ear, and I certainly hope the information in today's video will help you. So the first step is to learn how to identify notes by ear, or in simpler terms, listen to a note and know what that note is. Now, there are lots of ways to get started on learning how to identify notes by ear, but for the bass players out there, learning how to tune your bass by ear is a great way to get started. If you learn how to tune your bass by ear, you'll be able to identify the notes G, D, A, and E by ear. When it comes to learning a new skill, you've got to start somewhere, and learning how to tune your bass by ear is a great way to get started on learning how to identify notes by ear. Because if you can identify G, D, A, and E, there's 12 notes, and you're able to identify 4 of them by ear. So, you've learned how to tune your bass by ear, and you can identify 4 notes by ear. Congratulations! Now, you need to be able to identify all the other notes by ear. Sorry, didn't mean to make that sound as intimidating. It really isn't, but you're not going to learn it overnight. It's going to take some time, it's going to take some practice, but it won't be long, and you'll be able to identify all the notes by ear. So you've got to ask yourself, do I know what all the notes are on the fretboard? Yes? Fantastic. No? Well, go and learn that, and then come back. So if you know where all the notes on the fretboard are, you're halfway there. If you know 3rd fret A string is a C, fantastic. Now you've just got to be able to identify that C, or any other note, by ear. The best way to learn something new is to start off small. So, if you weren't looking at your bass, and you played an open E string, and you're able to identify that as an E note, great. Now, we'll start off small. If you know that 1st fret E string is an F, you just need to be able to identify that note just by hearing it. So I know that I'm playing an F because I'm looking at the fretboard. However, if I wasn't looking at it, what's that note? Is it F? Yes, it is. So just start off small. Just go semitone increments. So open string, semitone, okay. I know that a semitone up from E is F, fantastic. Now we can go a whole tone. So I know that 2nd fret E string is an F sharp. So not looking at it, that's an open E. That sounds like a semitone above E, so that's F. That's open E again. Is that F sharp? Yes, it is. And so on and so forth. Keep working your way up the fretboard because obviously lower register here, higher register up here. So you don't want to go, okay, oh yeah, that's a D, playing an open D string. What's this note? Oh, whoa, hang on a minute. That's really high up. I haven't really gone to the upper register of the fretboard. I'm still learning the lower register. I don't know what that is. So you don't want to do that. Just start off small in the lower register because open string, I mean, that's the lowest note for that string. So just start off with the lower register and just work your way up and up and up. And it won't be long, you'll be able to identify all the notes by ear. Once you're able to identify any note on the fretboard by ear, you need to learn major and minor scales by ear. Now, we're going to start off small. We'll just learn major pentatonic. The reason why it's great to learn this is so when you do eventually start learning bass lines by ear, you'll be able to work out, okay, this song sounds major or this song sounds minor. I know what I need to be playing for minor or major. So here's the difference in a major and minor pentatonic scale, played in the key of A. And now minor. I'm not going to go too much into the major and minor scales, but just practice major and minor pentatonic to start off with, and then go into the full major and minor scale. I'm not trying to teach you to identify every note in the major and minor scale by ear. What I'm trying to teach you is how to work out if a bass line that you're trying to learn by ear is major or minor. And if you can work out which one it is, at least you'll have a rough idea of what you need to be playing. Okay, so now we're going to be getting into learning bass lines by ear. However, we're still in the early stages of all this, so we're going to start off pretty small, start off pretty light, and start off with things being pretty basic. You want to get yourself started by listening to and learning some pretty basic bass lines. Seven Nation Army is a good example. I know that's pretty cliche and almost every beginner musician learns that song. However, it is a basic bass line. There's not too many notes, and it's pretty easy to identify the notes in that bass line and learn it by ear. Start off by listening to some basic bass lines to get yourself started and to not be overwhelmed. If you start off by listening to some complicated, super technical bass line that's in 9/8 time, you will get overwhelmed, and you'll probably think, oh, I can't do this. Well, yeah, obviously you can't do it because you're just starting off. You need to start off with something pretty basic, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. You have to start off with the very basics before you can get to here. So, as with anything, you've got to start somewhere, start small, and very slowly, gradually build up. And it won't be too long before you're where you want to be. So, ladies and gentlemen, the time has come to know what to do when learning bass lines by ear. 4 steps. First of all, listen to it. As simple as that may sound. No. Listen to it and familiarize yourself with the bass line so you know what's required from you, playing-wise. Step 2, slow it down. Slow it down so you're able to hear every note and you can identify every note by ear. It's no use listening to something really fast at full speed because the notes go by really quickly and you might not be able to pick anything up. So it's best just to slow it right down so you can pick up every single note. Step 3, break it into small chunks. As well as slowing it down, it's no use slowing the entire thing down and trying to learn the entire thing in one sitting. I mean, you can do that, but it's pretty strenuous and a lot harder to learn. So if you break it into small chunks, you got the first, 5 seconds of the bass line slowed down. You just got to work out the notes in that chunk. Oh, okay, yep, I know the notes there. Just run through those notes a few times, practice that, and then if you want, you can build up the speed. Just that first 5 second or so chunk. However, they can be however long or however short you want. Just learning the notes in that little bit, and slowly building up speed until you're at the original speed of the bass line. Then move on to the second bit, and then move on to the third, fourth, fifth, and so on, until you're able to play all the notes in the entire bass line. Step number 4, and this really helps, is to sing the bass line to yourself. You've already committed all the notes to memory, and you're able to identify a note just by hearing it. So if you sing the bass line to yourself, you'll be able to identify the notes quicker, and you're able to be more precise with learning the bass line by ear. So I'll now play 2 songs, and we'll use those 4 steps that we covered earlier to be able to identify the bass line by ear. We'll start off with Seven Nation Army. Okay, so first step was to listen to it, and I was able to work out that it sounds minor because I was able to identify that from learning what major and minor pentatonic scales sound like. So I was able to work out that was minor. Now, in terms of slowing it down, I don't think it's necessary for this one because all the notes are pretty spaced apart and we're able to hear each individual note pretty clearly. So we'll skip that one and we'll go straight to step 3, which is break it down. So we'll try and identify the first 4 notes that are played. Here we go. Okay, so trying to identify that, we'll go to step 4, which is sing them. So, that's E. So there were 4 notes played there, so da, 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 5 notes, sorry. Da, da, play E twice, and then da da da, G, da 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 da, back to E, da 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 da, D. And we'll continue on. Okay, just 2 more notes to go. So we've got, so it goes da 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 da, C, and then da da, C, B, and there you have it. There you have it. Didn't take too long, did it? Okay, now the second song I'm going to play is Never Gonna Die by Choir Boys, and the bass line is a little bit more complicated than Seven Nation Army. Let's have a listen. Open E, and there's that. Okay, there's a fair bit going on there. Okay, so we've listened to it, we've familiarized ourselves. It sounds major. It sounds major. So let's break it down into chunks. Okay, I was able to work out that's just open E. Then it's got that really weird bit. Okay, this is going to be a case of singing. So it'd be those 2 notes went da da da. So that's B, C sharp, A. However, that A note sounded more like the open A string. So this is what it sounds like. There you have it. Let's carry on. B, E flat. Cool. C sharp, B. Okay, so far we've got. Cool. Last part of the bass line. Okay, so that went from E flat to C sharp. All right. Okay, so the note after that last C sharp, so is B. So. That was A flat to E. My voice can't go lower than yeah. Can't go lower than that A flat. But we just worked out the bass line by breaking it into chunks, singing it to ourselves, listening to it over and over to get ourselves familiar with what key or what scale it's in. And I know I did skip a step there. I didn't slow it down. It's because I've got Spotify on my laptop. I don't know how to slow songs down on Spotify. To anyone who does, let me know in the comments. But yeah, we just learnt that entire bass line by ear. So we're now at the end of the video. If you learn how to tune your bass by ear, if you learn all the notes on the fretboard by ear, if you learn what major and minor pentatonic scales sound like to be able to work out if the bass line you're learning is major or minor, if you start off with pretty basic bass lines to learn by ear, if you just start slowly and just break things up into small chunks, just keep going slowly, and eventually with practice, you'll be able to learn how to play bass lines by ear quickly, learn how to tune your bass by ear quickly, and just make huge progress as a musician. Thanks so much for watching today's video. If you liked it, be sure to actually like it and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video.